Dana Childs again with De Loren Fine Arts, and I'm going to do a very quick abstract painting. This is sort of something I do to loosen up, to get me into a really loose frame of mind, and just to have fun, you know, just to get my right brain kicking off and get the synapses jumping up there. Anyhow, so I'm going to primarily use quinacridone Deep Gold, which is a real winner. It's a nice substitute for burnt sienna, but with a pop, and it's amazingly transparent. And quinacridone Violet, which is a little less transparent, but it's also has a really nice pop. And I'll dip into some magentas and, you know, sideways, a little sideways action here and there, maybe some raw sienna for a little opacity off and on during the video. I'm going to work on, my sponge right now is extremely dry, and in Nevada where it's extremely dry, especially when you're painting outside, so it's good to dampen part of your sponge at least before you get started so that it receives water a little bit easier. I prepared my paper, my palette for the most part. Quinacridone Deep Gold and Violet. It took me forever to learn how to say that. Thank you, Carol Taylor. So I'm going to work very, very rapidly. And again, this is just a warm-up exercise. This is not necessarily, hey, I'm doing this to sell it or have a preconceived idea. Sometimes cloud reading enters into the picture, but it's not necessary. And here we go. Just having fun. Just having a little bit of fun. Gotta be careful because the gold and the orange with the purple, as gorgeous as they are together, if they blend too much, they will go muddy. So I'm paying attention to that. Get that rubbed into, oh, I got a bug here. Hello, hello little friend. He's coming to visit me. Are you coming to visit me? You coming to say hello? I'm not overthinking anything at this stage. Just creating. Little magenta here. Got to work really fast. It's drying extremely rapidly. Oh, I like that. Do that over here too. You don't always have to have parts connecting, but it does make it kind of fun to do a little of that. And then I noticed that my violet is getting shy. If it were March, I would make a No Mobile reference, but it's not. But I'll make one anyway. Violet was the name of that. The shy one that the gnome didn't want to get to know, or he did want to get to know, but he didn't want the other ones for his wife. He wanted Violet. Oh, that's pretty. A little too predictable, so I'm gonna marry it back in with that one. Get some of that integrated. Lift a little bit of this water here, because when that dries, part of our arch nemesis in watercolor. If it gets too wet, it dries super light. Watercolor statistically dries 20% lighter than acrylic, or it just dries 20% lighter than it goes on. And acrylic and oil typically dry 20% darker. So watercolorists are constantly challenged with having to consider going a little darker. That's not always our thing. Okay, so just smooth, organic, fluid shapes, and chances are I've overworked some already, but at this point I'm okay. I want to pull that off the edge in case I decide to float this one. I don't know if it's going to turn out to be anything more than an exercise. So it's a little too dry over here, but that's a good spot. I'm looking for places where it's started to dry, it's losing its shine, but it hasn't entirely lost its shine. This here, too dry. This here, perfect. I'll show you an intentional bloom right in there. And if you watch that, it's just going to keep pushing the paint away. Mainly in here, because this was already too dry over here. Right here, I'm going to try to enhance that bloom a little. Even your blooms, even your backgrounds, you want to kind of plan them. It seems very arbitrary right now, but it's not. I'm actually thinking about it and making a decision about what shape those blooms should be. This one right, I'm going to try to make it work with the rest of the painting. It's hard to see because my hand shadow's in the way, but I'm going to try to make that connect so it's not also alone and isolated. I know, enough with the isolation jokes right now. It's not funny anymore. Yeah, but if we didn't laugh, we'd cry, right? Okay. I feel like I need some, for, you know, not really wanting to weave everything through, but I feel like this shape is making too much of a line. I've got gold, 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 and it's making a polka dotted line. So I have an opportunity in here to add some burnt sienna or some gold. So I'm going to do that because I think that it would be a mistake if I, ooh, chunky, if I didn't pull the eye down a little. Oh, much better. And now over into here a little. And there goes my clean water. I did it. I did it. We often do that as watercolorists. Ooh, I'm liking that faded gold color. It's tough to sacrifice a white space because we work so hard to save them in watercolor, but I needed to do that there. Connect those together. Okay, now I feel like we've got a composition that's working, and the only thing is I need some bright gold in here somewhere and maybe in this white space. Okay. I like very organic shapes. I like this really curvy shapes. See how that blended in a little better? It's not quite so standout dark. So now I'm going to take a real dark and let it taper, because I think that'll make it look even more a part of it, not set aside. Okay, and then I'm just gonna, just in case there's any more opportunity, and tiny bit of gold up in here, and then I feel like I'm done. I don't want to overdo it. Yeah, that's nice. See how that created a little bit of a balance? And because my colors are fresh and they're not overworked on my palette or paper, see how that gold bleeds into the magenta? That's how you get that to happen. If you are working with old dry colors and you reactivate them, which is perfectly fine for detail work, you won't get these bold shots of color. So, and I want to see some light pick up there. And maybe just there.